All right, today Joe and Todd are debating Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg from epic rap battles of history.
Let's start with Musk's opening. He kicks in immediately with, "Call me Musk. I'm here to help. Flush a Zuckerturd for humanity's health." That's a strong opener. It frames the whole battle as Musk claiming he's helping humanity while Zuckerberg is the problem.
Sure, but Zuckerberg fires back immediately with something Musk can't really counter. "You can't sneak up on Zuck, I don't even blink. I'm the CEO of Knowing What You Think, Inc." That's a brutal line because it leans directly into the creepy reputation Facebook has with data and surveillance. It's self-aware and confident.
I actually think Musk lands the stronger early punches, though. When he says, "You provide a place to discover your aunt's kind of racist," that's a perfect summary of Facebook's reputation. One line and the whole platform gets roasted.
But Zuckerberg lands some pretty heavy shots too. The line, "Couldn't clean your daddy's laundry with apartheid pods," goes straight at Musk's South African upbringing and the controversy around his family. It's a layered insult and the wordplay is solid.
Fair. But Musk's second verse escalates the scale of the battle. When he says, "When I'm conquering my space, it's actual space, man," he reframes the fight. Zuckerberg runs social media, while Musk is trying to build rockets and colonize Mars. That's a pretty massive flex.
I think Zuckerberg's closer is actually stronger, though. "Set your self-driving truck to haul your ass home at because this battle's like PayPal, you got owned." That's a clean closer referencing Musk's PayPal history while declaring victory in the battle itself.
All right, pause. Mid-debate category time. From this point forward, I want you to focus on something slightly darker. The category is who objectively has caused more harm to humanity. You both now need to argue which of these two figures has actually had the more negative real-world impact.
Okay, this is actually interesting because I've talked about both these guys before. Zuckerberg's platform literally changed how humans interact. Musk even calls it out directly in the lyrics with, "Your platform only launches depression." That line hits because social media has been linked to mental health problems and political misinformation.
True, but Zuckerberg's influence is almost entirely digital and social. Musk's influence is technological and physical. His companies control rockets, satellites, and transportation systems. The scale of potential harm is way larger if something goes wrong there.
But the thing with Facebook is a scale of human behavior. That when billions of people use it now. When Zuckerberg brags, "Watch me Oculus, Instagram, WhatsApp post," he's literally listing platforms that reach huge portions of the planet. That's an enormous amount of influence over information.
Sure, but Musk's criticism in the battle is that Zuckerberg sold society out for profit. "I'm destined to rep Earth, you sold us out for some net worth." That line suggests Zuckerberg prioritized monetization of social interaction over human well-being.
And Musk isn't innocent either. Zuckerberg mocks him with, "You've got all these companies, but they're all incomplete." And that hits on Musk launching ambitious projects that sometimes fail or cause controversy.
But if we're talking objective harm, Zuckerberg's platform being accused of spreading misinformation and manipulation puts him in a worse position historically.
Maybe. But Musk's influence over technology, markets, and public discourse has also caused massive chaos at times. The difference is Zuckerberg's system affects everyday human communication constantly.
All right, I've heard the lyrical arguments and the category debate. I'm ready to deliver a verdict. When focusing strictly on the lyrics, both sides landed strong punches. Musk's lines about space exploration and innovation give him the grander heroic narrative, while Zuckerberg's verses rely on precision insults and clever wordplay about corporate power and surveillance. However, the category we introduced matters a lot here. The question was, who objectively has caused more harm to humanity? In the context of the lyrics themselves, Musk repeatedly frames Zuckerberg as responsible for social decay, referencing mental health issues and the manipulative nature of social media platforms. Meanwhile, Zuckerberg's attacks on Musk focus more on ego and unfinished projects rather than societal damage. Because the song itself centers the accusation of harm on Zuckerberg's technology and its influence over billions of users, the debate tips slightly in Musk's favor. Therefore, the winner of this debate is Elon Musk. Elon will receive the platinum rocket-powered Ego Amplifier. This prestigious device allows the user to launch ambitious ideas directly into orbit while tweeting about them at 3 in the morning. Side effects may include sudden Mars colonization plans and spontaneous podcast appearances. Welcome back to Who Won, the show where we break down rap battles and decide who actually took it. Today we're looking at Skrillex versus Mozart. From the YouTube channel Epic Rap Battles of History, two instrumental musicians from completely different eras going head-to-head. Electronic chaos versus classical mastery. Todd will be arguing for Skrillex. Rick will be arguing for Mozart. Todd, go ahead.
Skrillex comes in loud and immediate. My name is Skrillex, man. Welcome to the Devil's Den. I'm a scary monster, stomping this sprite in frilly pants. That's energy right out the gate. He sets tone instantly. Then he leans into disrespect. You're a weirdo wolfie. You're into powdered wigs and poop. It's blunt, but it works for his style. And he keeps stacking modern flexes. I'm rich, acclaimed, and famous. I'm on playlists. I'm the A-list. That's a real-world angle. He's not just talking skill, he's talking relevance. Then the closer kiss my ass, A Amadeus. That stutter flow fits his whole persona.
And Mozart immediately dismantles that. Was that a verse or did you just get the hiccups? That's a direct response to the stutter and it lands instantly. Then he builds. My music is 200 years old and it's still excellent. In 2 more months, the world will forget about your Skrill excrement. That's the entire argument in 2 lines. Longevity versus trend. And he keeps control. I am the world's greatest composer. No one knows what you are, except a lonely little troll who knows how to press a spacebar. That's not just an insult, that's reframing Skrillex as someone without real musicianship.
Skrillex answers that, though. I attack you, decay can't sustain my releases. Sidechain. Wolfgang Bangarang you to pieces. That's technical language mixed with aggression. He's bringing his actual craft into the bars. And then he hits the independence angle. I'm a self-made man. You're a slave to your papa. That's strong. Mozart's whole upbringing gets flipped into a weakness. Then global my strobes glow like Chernobyl kids explode and get mobile. That's scale. That's modern reach.
And Mozart goes right back to dismantling the music itself. Tell me what comes after the 68th measure of diarrhea. That's brutal. He's not even engaging with Skrillex as an equal. He's dismissing the entire genre. Then he layers technical superiority. You go piano to fortissimo. That means soft to very, very loud cause. I'm guessing that you didn't know. That's educating while insulting. Then why don't you put down your Cubase and pick up a real bow? That's the final statement. Real instrument versus software.
All right, that brings us to the mid-debate category. Who had the bigger impact on their genre?
Skrillex changed electronic music completely. Dubstep was niche before him and he made it global. That sound design, those drops, that energy. He influenced an entire generation of producers. You hear it everywhere now. And it's not just influence, it's accessibility. I gained your same fame from home on a blown-out speaker. That line matters. He represents a shift where anyone can create music without needing the old systems.
Mozart didn't just impact a genre, he helped define it. Classical music as we understand it doesn't exist the same way without him. Structure, composition, melody. He set standards that are still studied today. And the longevity argument is unbeatable. My music is 200 years old and it's still excellent. That's not just a line, it's fact. His work is still performed, still analyzed, still relevant centuries later.
That doesn't mean Skrillex doesn't matter. He changed how music is made and consumed in the modern era. That's impact too.
It is, but it's not the same scale. Mozart's influence is foundational, Skrillex's is evolutionary.
Skrillex represents a modern shift in production and accessibility. Mozart represents the foundation of an entire musical tradition. One changed how music is made today, the other helped define what music could be in the first place. I've heard enough. This is an interesting battle in theory. 2 instrumental musicians from completely different eras clashing through rap. But honestly, the battle itself is a little underwhelming. There are moments that land, but it never fully reaches the level it could. If this came down purely to their real-world music, it wouldn't even be close. Mozart would take it in a landslide based on influence, longevity, and complexity. But this is about the battle. And in the battle, Mozart is more consistent, more direct, and more effective with his disses. Skrillex brings energy and modern references, but a lot of it feels surface level. Mozart breaks him down and controls the tone from his first response. Mozart takes it. For your prize, Mozart, you're getting a permanent sold-out performance schedule across every era. Concert halls, symphonies, film scores. Wherever music exists, your work is being played and appreciated. You never fade out, you never fall off. And every generation keeps rediscovering you like it's the first time. And Skrillex, for you, you're getting unlimited creative evolution. Every new sound, every new tool, every shift in music, you're right there at the front of it. No ceiling, no stagnation, just constant reinvention with an audience ready to move the second you drop anything. We'll see you next time on Who Won. All right, today we're debating Theodore Roosevelt versus Winston Churchill from epic rap battles of history.
Roosevelt comes out immediately aggressive with, "Bully, a challenge! I love competition!" That's pure energy. Then he follows with, "Now where would I mount the stuffed head of a Winston?" He opens like he's already won. That tone matters.
Churchill answers with just as much confidence, though. "Pass me a cigar and a large glass of brandy." That's character establishment instantly. Then, "I'm about to take you out prematurely, like your family." That's a brutal personal hit right out the gate.
Roosevelt stacks historical attacks early. "You tossed away lives in Gallipoli like they were scraps off your plate." That's not just an insult. That's calling out a real military failure. That hits heavier than surface-level jokes.
A Churchill counters by reframing legacy entirely. "I was saving the planet from an axis of darkness." He's putting himself on a global scale. Then he undercuts Roosevelt with, "While you were back home opening national parks." That's diminishing Roosevelt's accomplishments in one line.
Roosevelt goes personal and emotional next. "My parents died, but at least they didn't ditch me like yours did." That's a deep cut. He's not just attacking history, he's attacking upbringing.
Churchill's rebuttal is pure composure. "I'll fight you on the beaches, I'll fight you on the beats." He turns one of his most famous speeches into a rap flex. That's elite writing.
And Roosevelt escalates into straight dominance. "Teddy's dropping bombs, so you best go hide in your tube." That's aggressive, visual, and ties directly into wartime imagery.
Churchill closes stronger, though. "If a bullet to the chest won't stop you, my words will." That's a perfect closer threat. Calm, confident, and final.
All right, switching categories. Which of these two is the stronger wartime leader and historical symbol of resilience?
Churchill takes this. Easily. "I was saving the planet from an axis of darkness." That's not exaggeration. He's tied directly to World War II victory. His speeches, his leadership, his presence, he defined resilience during one of the darkest times in history.
Roosevelt still holds his own here. He wasn't just a president, he was a fighter. A bullet can't stop the bull moose. That's not metaphor. He literally got shot and kept going. That's real physical resilience.
Churchill's resilience was national, not just personal. He kept an entire country standing under constant threat. That's a different level.
Roosevelt's influence shaped American strength long term, though. Military reform, leadership style, presence. He built a foundation that lasted.
Churchill is remembered because of crisis leadership. When everything was collapsing, he held it together. That's peak historical impact.
Roosevelt represents action and strength on an individual level. Churchill represents endurance. It comes down to which one you value more.
All right, I've heard both sides. Roosevelt comes in with overwhelming energy, constant aggression, and some of the hardest personal and historical hits in the battle. His momentum is strong throughout, and he never really lets up. Churchill, on the other hand, is more composed. His lines are calculated, his references are precise, and he leans heavily into his legacy as a wartime leader. His closing lines in particular are extremely strong and confident. On the category, wartime leadership and resilience, Churchill stands on a larger global stage. His leadership during World War II and his symbolic role in resisting collapse give him a level of impact that is difficult to match. Because of that, stronger historical weight in the category and a more controlled, confident delivery overall, the winner is Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill earns the Diamond Cigar of Unbreakable Resolve. This legendary cigar never burns out, no matter how long the battle lasts. It produces a constant aura of confidence, boosts speech effectiveness by 200%, and makes every comeback sound like it belongs in a history book. Side effects may include excessive swagger and an inability to admit defeat under any circumstances. Theodore Roosevelt receives the Titanium Bull Moose Medal of Relentless Energy. This powerful artifact grants unstoppable momentum, the ability to turn any situation into a charge forward, and immunity to anything short of common sense. Wearing it may cause spontaneous speeches, aggressive handshakes, and an uncontrollable urge to wrestle nature itself. Welcome back to Who Won, the show where we break down rap battles and decide who actually took it. Today we're looking at Katniss versus Hermione from Whitney Avalon. Two fan-favorite heroines stepping into a very different kind of arena. Survival instinct versus intellect. Precision versus preparation. Rick will be arguing for Katniss. Joe will be arguing for Hermione. Rick, go ahead.
Katniss comes out aggressive and controlled right away. I'm Katniss, and I can't miss. I'm the fastest. You can't catch this. That's confidence and identity in one line. Then she stacks momentum with Make a Last Wish. Gonna need 3 cannons for this hat trick. That's a Hunger Games reference that doubles as a kill count flex. She's not just rapping, she's setting the tone. And then she goes straight at Hermione's biggest weakness. That's why I'm the hero and you're just a sidekick. That hits because Hermione, no matter how powerful, is still framed as support in her own story. Katniss positions herself as the center immediately.
Yeah, but Hermione neutralizes that almost instantly. Oh, there'll be no trouble, because on stage you struggle, I'll be charming and disarming while I waste this rubbish, Muggle. That's layered. She's flexing magic, delivery, and calling Katniss out as out of her depth all at once. Then she gets surgical. It's Battle Royale, set in 1984, and furthermore, if you're keeping score, that's 5 more points for Gryffindor. She's attacking originality and still keeping it playful. That's control.
Katniss isn't losing control, though. She keeps escalating. Never played Quidditch, but you know I'm a keeper. That's a clean flip of Hermione's world into her own strength. Then who wants to kick this witch's ass? I volunteer. That's perfect character voice. It's confident and it lands.
And Hermione responds by getting personal in a way Katniss doesn't match early on. Share your bread with Gale, then stuff your mouth with Peeta. She's dismantling Katniss's relationships. That's not just a joke. That's targeting indecision and narrative weakness.
Katniss ramps it up in the later rounds, though. For this riddle, second fiddle, you're the Watson to his Sherlock. That's one of the strongest structure bars in the whole battle. It reframes Hermione as permanently secondary no matter how smart she is. And then odds ever in my favor, cause you rap like an Avox. That's cold. She's saying Hermione doesn't even have a voice compared to her.
Hermione's later rounds are way more devastating. On fire, oh, just like your dad, or the hospital you visited to film a quick ad. That's not even a diss, that's a direct emotional hit. Then you're just another pawn in the military complex. She reframes Katniss as manipulated instead of heroic. And the closer is brutal. Your glory's only temporary, your country is a mortuary. Next on your itinerary, kill yourself, eat the berries. That's one of the hardest finishing lines in any of these battles.
All right, that brings us to the mid-debate category. Who's the stronger protagonist?
Katniss easily. She survives. That's her entire world. She adapts, she endures, and she wins in situations designed to kill her. She doesn't need a system, she doesn't need rules, she makes decisions in real time under pressure. That's strength. And she inspires people. The Mockingjay isn't just a symbol, it's a movement. She turns survival into rebellion. Hermione is smart, but she operates within a structure. Katniss breaks the structure.
Hermione doesn't just operate in the system, she masters it. She understands the rules so well that she can bend them when she needs to. She's solving problems before they even happen. That's a different level of control. And she's the reason her side wins. Harry doesn't succeed without her. She's the planner, the strategist, the one holding everything together. Katniss reacts. Hermione calculates.
Katniss calculates too, just differently. She reads people, environments, threats. She doesn't need books because she understands survival instinctively. Hermione would struggle in Katniss's world.
And Katniss wouldn't last long in Hermione's. Magic isn't something you can just adapt to mid-fight. Hermione's ceiling is higher because her world demands more complexity.
Katniss represents instinct, resilience, and raw survival. Hermione represents intelligence, preparation, and control. One thrives in chaos. The other prevents chaos from winning. I've heard enough. This is one of the closest battles we've had. Katniss comes out strong with confidence, character voice, and consistent pressure. Her lines are sharp, direct, and true to who she is. But Hermione builds momentum as the battle goes on. Her disses get more personal, more layered, and more damaging. Lines like its Battle Royale set in 1984 show control and awareness. But what really tips it are the later rounds. The emotional hits, the narrative breakdowns, and the closing line about the berries. Those don't just land, they redefine Katniss's story in a harsher light. Katniss fights well. Hermione finishes stronger. Hermione takes it, but just barely. For your prizes, Hermione, you're being awarded a lifetime access pass to every library in every universe. No restrictions, no late fees. Every piece of knowledge instantly available to you. Not that you needed it, but now it's official. You don't just know everything, you're allowed to. And Katniss, you're getting something just as fitting. A permanent, safe arena where the odds are always in your favor. No cameras, no manipulation, just you at your absolute best with every advantage you never got the first time. You still have to fight, but this time the world isn't stacked against you. Welcome back to Who Won. Today is a special episode. Our first three-way battle. John Wick versus John McClane versus John Rambo. From the YouTube channel Epic Rap Battles of History. Three action icons, three completely different styles. Todd will be arguing for John Wick. Rick is arguing for John McClane. Joe is arguing for John Rambo. Let's get into it. Rick, go ahead.
McClane comes in exactly how he should. I'll set it off like it's the top of Nakatomi need a fire hose to swing on you. You're both so below me. Immediate reference, immediate confidence, and it sounds natural. That's the key. Then he keeps stacking. I haven't stopped killing it since Carl's brother Tony, and I got your detonators right here. Blow me. That's classic McClane attitude translated perfectly into battle form. And then he starts picking them apart. Ship your booby traps home, Rambo, cause you'll never take the W without the P and O. That's a layered wordplay hit. Then he turns to Wick, mocking the whole serious tone Wick brings. He's not just dissing them, he's controlling the energy of the battle.
Wick doesn't need to control the energy. He is the energy. Ooh, I'm gonna need a dinner reservation for two. That's cold. Calm, controlled, professional. Then he defines himself. Efficient and lean, a proficient, professional killing machine. That's branding. That's identity. Everything he says reinforces who he is. And then he starts breaking both of them down. Only one of us to go 3 chapters without sucking. That's a direct shot at both franchises. Then the wordplay ramps up. I craft rhymes with pencils, then jam them in necks. That's one of the most iconic Wick references flipped into a bar. And the closer. I'll put you two in tombs, call it cryptocurrency. That's modern, clever, and it lands clean. Wick is surgical the entire round.
Rambo's not here to be surgical. He's here to overpower. Nothing is over nothing. You just don't turn it off. That's pure character voice. He brings intensity immediately, then he flips it. Unless it's one of your movies, in which case I just turn it off. That's a direct hit on Wick. And he keeps that aggression. When I rip off my shirt and start swinging my stick swords, I'm hotter than the suicide girls on your switchboards. He's loud, but it fits him. Then he lands real shots. McClane South is where your marriage went. The last tight thing you slid in was an air vent. That's a strong direct diss. And the stealth angle. I slip into the jungle, disappear like a ghost, then pop up hot behind you like toast. That's classic Rambo. He's playing to his strengths.
All right, let's move into the mid-debate category. Who is the best overall action hero?
McClane, easily. It comes down to relatability. He's not a super soldier, not an assassin with a code. He's a guy in the wrong place at the wrong time who survives anyway. Barefoot, outgunned, outnumbered, and still wins. That's why he works. He feels human. And that translates into the bars. Less is more, boys. That's my advice. That's his whole philosophy. He doesn't need flash. He just outlasts you.
Wick is the evolution of the action hero. Precision, skill, mythology. The world around him reacts to him. Entire systems exist because of him. And he moves through all of it effortlessly. And the consistency matters. Only one of us to go 3 chapters without sucking. That's not just a flex, it's true. Wick delivers every time. He's controlled chaos. Every move is intentional.
Rambo is the original intensity. He's not just action, he's survival, war, trauma, isolation. He brings weight to everything he does. When he shows up, it's not clean, it's destructive, and that's his strength. He doesn't play the game, he overwhelms it. I was trained to be the very best soldier boy. That's not just a line, that's his entire identity.
McClane represents the grounded everyman. Wick represents precision and myth. Rambo represents raw survival and force. 3 different versions of what an action hero can be. I've heard enough. Rambo comes in strong with energy and character, but his round lacks control. It's loud but not as focused, and it doesn't hit as consistently as the others. Wick is sharp, efficient, and incredibly clean. His wordplay is modern, his structure is tight, and he never wastes a line. But McClane does something neither of them fully match. He balances personality, humor, and disrespect while still landing strong punches. His flow feels natural, his references hit, and he controls the tone of the battle without ever forcing it. This comes down to Wick versus McClane, precision versus personality. And while Wick is technically cleaner, McLean feels more complete. He adapts, he mocks, and he lands consistently across the entire battle. John McLean takes it. For your prize, McLean, you're getting a custom pair of steel toe shoes designed to look exactly like your bare feet. No more choosing between survival and stepping on glass. You keep the look, you keep the lore, but now every step hits like a weapon. Comfortable, durable, and completely on brand. You finally get to walk through chaos without paying for it later. John Wick, for you, we've got something a little different. 2 immortality serums. One for you, and one for whoever or whatever you decide to care about next. No more losing the one thing that grounds you. No more resets. This time, if something gets close to you, it stays. You get continuity for once. And Rambo, for you, we're setting up a quiet little training retreat. Underground, sealed off. No distractions, no audience. Just you and as much time as you need to figure out how to rap battle with structure instead of just force. Door stays closed until it clicks. You'll know when it does. We'll see you next time on Who Won. Welcome back to Who Won, the show where we break down rap battles and decide who actually took it. Today we're looking at Daenerys versus Maleficent, from the YouTube channel Whitney Avalon. Fire and Blood versus Curses and Darkness. Rick will be arguing for Daenerys. Todd will be arguing for Maleficent. Todd, go ahead.
Maleficent opens exactly how she should. Well, oh dear, what an awkward situation. I'm quite distressed to not receive at least an invitation. That's pure character voice. Calm, regal, and immediately condescending. Then she stacks the rhyme. I'm the rhyming ruination that will put your puny nation in suspended animation. That's strong control right out the gate. And then she pivots into personal attacks fast. I'm just so delighted by your family's bad luck a curse would be useless, you already suck. That's brutal because it's true to Daenerys' story. Then she keeps going. First daddy went mad, then you killed your own mother. Hothead brother was murdered by the husband you smothered. She's not just insulting, she's recounting trauma and weaponizing it.
And Daenerys answers with presence. I am Daenerys Stormborn, first of my name. You can call me Khaleesi, the breaker of chains. That's identity. That's power. She establishes who she is before even attacking. Then she hits back. You're insane, bringing battle while you dig in your own grave. I'll snap you like the collar on a free city slave. That's direct and ties into her whole liberation angle. And she doesn't let up. Oh, whatever, Elvira, you call that a verse, you're a fairy tale bully, find an infant to curse. That's flipping Maleficent's entire character into something petty. Then she goes for humor and disrespect. All in black with those horns, you look like a burnt goat. It's simple, but it lands.
Maleficent escalates harder, though. The truth is, I'm ruthless. I make bad look good, medieval evil, with a needle lethal lyrical as well, illinest villainous, who's killing this with all the powers of hell. That's one of the cleanest rhyme schemes in the battle. She's flowing and staying in character. And then, she goes right back to dismantling Daenerys. No privates in your army, that's crazy. It's nuts, you all show so much ass it should be called Game of Butts. That's a lighter jab, but it resets the tone before she drops something heavier. Isn't it scary when you're forced into marrying, surrounded by hairy men, and losing your cherry, then your baby's miscarrying? That's another deep personal hit.
And Daenerys closes stronger. If you're so powerful, then answer me this. What kind of crap magic gets destroyed by a kiss? That's the biggest weakness in Maleficent's entire story summed up in one line. Then she reinforces dominance. I rose from the ashes, now a force you can't stop. She started from the bottom, now I finish on top. That's a full arc statement. And the closer seals it. I'm the mother of dragons, you can't burn me, the best don't rest, it's my destiny. That's confidence and identity again. She starts and ends with power.
All right, that brings us to the mid-debate category. Who is the more intimidating threat?
Maleficent easily. She doesn't need armies, she doesn't need dragons. She walks into a room and curses a kingdom. That's it. One spell and your entire future is over. That level of power is effortless. And it's not just power, it's presence. She doesn't rush, she doesn't panic. She controls the situation. Suspended animation, curses, transformation. She changes reality itself. That's intimidation.
Daenerys is a different kind of threat. She's not just powerful, she's unstoppable once she gets momentum. Armies, dragons, entire cities falling in her path. She doesn't just curse individuals, she changes the world around her. And the key difference is scale. Maleficent affects kingdoms. Daenerys conquers them. When she shows up, it's not just fear, it's collapse. Systems fall, power structures break. That's a larger threat.
But Maleficent doesn't need scale. She ends things before they start. That's more dangerous. No build-up, no warning, just done.
And Daenerys doesn't need subtlety. She overwhelms everything. Fire, force, and absolute control. You see her coming and you still can't stop it.
Maleficent is controlled, precise, and devastating on an individual level. Daenerys is overwhelming, relentless, and destructive on a massive scale. One ends stories quietly, the other ends them loudly. I've heard enough. Maleficent starts strong with clean structure, consistent rhyme schemes, and some of the most personal attacks in the battle. She controls her tone and never really loses it. But Daenerys builds momentum as the battle goes on. Her opening establishes power, her middle keeps pressure, and her closing hits the hardest. Lines like "what kind of crap magic gets destroyed by a kiss" directly expose Maleficent's biggest weakness. And her final stretch reinforces her identity in a way that feels complete. Maleficent feels sharp and consistent. Daenerys feels like she's building towards something and then delivers it. It's close, but Daenerys takes it. For your prize, Daenerys, you're getting absolute loyalty from every army you command. No hesitation, no betrayal, no second guessing. Every soldier, every advisor, every ally moves with complete trust in your leadership. You don't have to fight to hold power anymore. It stays with you. And Maleficent, for you, you're getting a kingdom that fully embraces your rule. No interruptions, no heroes rising up, no last-minute loopholes breaking your spells. Just complete control of your domain exactly the way you intended it. We'll see you next time on Who Won. All right, today we're debating Guy Fawkes versus Che Guevara from Epic Rap Battles of History on YouTube.
Starting with Che's first verse, he opens with, "Guevara the Terror, fresh Kangol wearer, ill rhyme slayer from the 60s era." That's immediate confidence, referencing his guerrilla identity and iconic look. It's bold and fits the battle setup.
Strong opening, but listen to how Che follows it up. "I'm known worldwide for my steely-eyed look. You're famous because of Alan Moore's third best book." That's clever. Che isn't just fighting Fawkes. He's mocking the idea that Fawkes is famous only because of pop culture. Sharp.
Fair. But Guy Fawkes hits back hard. In his opening lines, he goes straight at Che's image being commodified. "As a communist, it must really hurt that your face has been cheapened, being plastered on posters, coasters, and shirts, making capitalists rich off of you on merch." That's a clever flip of Che's own anti-capitalist ideals.
True, but Che keeps piling on with tough imagery. "Revolting heavy metal rebel blood spiller, me and my guerrillas are a squad of killers." That pushes his revolutionary persona and actual historical record, giving his verse weight beyond jokes.
But check Guy's retort. "I was tortured until I could hardly sign my name. And listening to you felt pretty much the same." That's brutal. He directly ties his personal story of torture into a lyrical punch. Emotional and historical.
And Che also hits with humor and harshness. "You had one job, Cabron, to strike a matchstick. Got caught with a fuse like your bar's not lit." Not just funny, a lyrical metaphor sinking Fawkes for his historical failure.
That line is good, but Fawkes responds with biting satire. These rhyme skills are not evenly distributed. Mocking communism and Che's verse delivery. That double meaning is smart and gets laughs and points.
All right, let's shake things up. Mid-debate category, cultural and historical impact. From here on, focus arguments on who has had a bigger footprint in real history and culture beyond just sensational lyrics.
Che Guevara is literally on banknotes in Cuba. "I'm the hardest Marxist ever graced a banknote." That's huge. His image is iconic worldwide, used in art, politics, protests, and merchandise for decades. His historical footprint is massive and still actively debated today.
But Fawkes' image, especially the Guy Fawkes mask, became a global symbol of protest and anonymity, used by movements like Anonymous and in films like V for Vendetta. His cultural impact isn't just history textbooks, it's modern social movements.
Che's imagery isn't just protest culture, it's a global pop culture icon. People wear his face on shirts far beyond leftist politics. That constant reuse keeps his legacy alive in more places.
True, but the irony in Fawkes' verse, "Your face," cheapened, weakened, besmirched, making capitalists rich off of you on merch, points out how his impact has mutated across political lines. That's cultural reach and ironic adaptability.
Che's historical impact, though controversial, fundamentally shaped real-world movements and revolutions. That's a level deeper than mythologized character symbolism.
All right, after hearing both sides, I've made a decision. The winner of this battle is clear. Che Guevara. Let's break it down. While Guy Fawkes' imagery definitely resonates in modern protest culture and meme usage, Che's influence spans actual historical revolution, global politics, pop culture symbolism, and ongoing debate about ideology. His lyrical lines about banknotes, guerrilla legacy, and worldwide recognition tie directly into why people still talk about him. Not just as a meme, but as a figure of historical consequence. Fawkes' lines were sharp and clever, but Che's overall real-world imprint gives him the edge in both lyrical defense and impact. I hereby award Che Guevara the Silver Revolving Beret of Eternal Influencerism. This prestigious award is perfect for striking dramatic poses during protests, appearing mysterious on vintage posters, or simply showing off your revolutionary style. Wear it proudly, but beware. It may cause spontaneous philosophical debates in elevators. Guy Fawkes won't go home empty-handed. He shall receive the golden mask of questionable mischief, ideal for costume parties, digital pranks, or disappearing dramatically from any scene. Its power is mostly psychological, giving the wearer an aura of enigmatic rebellion. Handle with care, and remember, it may inspire occasional internet revolutions. All right, today we're debating Lara Croft versus Indiana Jones from Epic Rap Battles of History on YouTube.
Straight up Indy comes out swinging with, "I'll leave you like your reboot, flattened." That's immediate pressure. And then, "You used to be the queen of booby trapping. What happened?" He's not just insulting her, he's questioning her entire legacy and evolution.
And Lara responds exactly how she should. She opens with, "Dr. Jones, you're no rival." No hesitation. Then follows it with, "You've been getting owned since give me the whip, throw me the idol." She's reframing his most iconic moments as him getting played. That's a brutal flip.
Indy keeps it layered, though. You took 3D to uncharted territory, now you're just in Uncharted's territory. That's a double meaning, acknowledging her influence while saying she got replaced. That's clean writing.
Lara's not trying to be subtle, though she goes straight for impact. Marion was 15 when you raided her bones. That's a devastating character hit. That's not just clever, that's uncomfortable. And it sticks.
Indy still has one of the strongest flexes in the entire battle. Just the first 4 notes of my theme exceed everything you've done. That's pure cultural confidence. He doesn't even need a full argument. Just the idea of his theme wins crowds.
And Lara escalates harder than he does. "I'm the first wet dream gamers ever had." She owns her legacy unapologetically, then immediately follows with, "You're a Halloween costume for out-of-shape dads." That's generational damage. She turns him into nostalgia, while she stays relevant.
Indy's angle is consistency, though. He keeps his identity intact the whole time. He's never scrambling, never overreaching. He's confident because he knows his place in culture.
And Lara's angle is domination. "I'm whooping you so bad I should get flagged for cheating." She ends with momentum. That matters in these battles.
All right, shifting categories. Who is more popular and more loved within their own community? Lara Croft in gaming or Indiana Jones in film?
Indiana Jones wins this. That line, "Just the first 4 notes of my theme exceed everything you've done," isn't just a bar, it's reality. Film audiences across generations recognize him instantly. That's universal appeal.
Lara literally addresses this, though. 3 decades in the game, and my fans still adore me. That's not just recognition, that's active engagement. Gamers don't just remember her, they keep coming back to her.
Film reaches a broader audience. Indiana Jones isn't just popular, he's foundational to blockbuster cinema. That kind of love spreads wider than gaming communities.
Wider doesn't mean deeper. Gaming communities are more involved. Lara evolves with her audience. New games, new interpretations, constant relevance. Indy shows up occasionally. Lara stays present.
Without Indy, Lara doesn't exist. He defined the archetype. That earns him lasting respect from his community.
And Lara surpassed that archetype. She didn't just follow it, she became the face of it in gaming. That's why her fan base sticks with her.
All right, I've heard both sides, lyrics and the category. I'm ready to decide. Indiana Jones delivers strong, confident writing. His lines are clever, His references land, and his cultural weight is undeniable. But Lara Croft brings more escalation, more personal attacks, and a stronger closing presence. Her later lines hit harder and leave a lasting impression. On the category, popularity within their communities, Indiana Jones is iconic, but his presence is largely legacy-driven. Lara Croft maintains ongoing engagement with her audience through active releases and evolving portrayals. Her fan base doesn't just remember her, they continue to interact with her. Because of that, stronger momentum in the lyrics and deeper ongoing connection with her community, the winner is Lara Croft. Lara Croft earns the platinum dual pistols of perpetual relevance. These legendary weapons automatically reload with fan support every time a new generation discovers gaming. They are stylish, impractical, and somehow always pointed directly at outdated competition. Use responsibly or don't, it clearly hasn't mattered so far. Indiana Jones receives the golden fedora of timeless nostalgia. This treasured artifact grants the wearer instant recognition, dramatic theme music in awkward situations, and the ability to survive impossible scenarios purely on legacy alone. Warning, may attract snakes and unnecessary reboots. Alright, today we're debating Barack Obama versus Mitt Romney from Epic Rap Battles of History on YouTube.
Romney comes out swinging immediately with, "I'm not gonna let this battle be dictated by facts." That's such a wild opener. He's basically saying he doesn't need truth to win. Then, "I'm rich, I got fat stacks and super PACs." That's a direct flex on wealth and campaign power.
And Obama answers with way more composure. He leans into authority and confidence instead of chaos. He doesn't need to shout. He just sounds presidential the entire time.
Romney's second layer is actually really sharp, though. "You're a decent politician with a winning complexion." That's a subtle but cutting line. He's implying Obama's appeal is surface level.
And Obama hits back with one of the most iconic lines in RB history. "Got their hands so far up your rear? Call you Mitt." That's brutal. It's simple, direct, and unforgettable. That's the kind of line that wins audiences.
Romney's angle is consistent, though. He keeps pushing the idea that Obama hasn't delivered. "You're all Barack and no bite." That's a clean summary of his entire argument.
But Obama's strength is delivery. Every line lands. Even when he's not the most complex, he sounds confident, controlled, and in command, which matters in a battle like this.
Romney's got energy, though. He's aggressive, he's pushing constantly, and he doesn't let up. He's trying to overwhelm Obama instead of outstyle him.
And Obama wins on presence. He doesn't need to overwhelm. He just needs a few lines that hit harder. And he gets them.
Alright, I've heard both sides. Romney comes in aggressive, confident, and consistent with his angle. His lines focus on wealth, power, and attacking Obama's effectiveness, and he keeps that pressure throughout the battle. Obama, on the other hand, relies on composure and delivery. His lines land cleaner, his insults stick longer, and his presence feels more controlled and authoritative. From a pure debate standpoint, both sides made solid arguments. Romney brings energy and consistency, while Obama brings stronger punchlines and better delivery. So after reviewing everything, the winner is Barack Obama.
Alright, yeah, that's fair. I was arguing Romney for the debate, not like politics or anything. I don't care about that stuff. But yeah, I get it.
No, Rick, that's not why Obama won.
What?
People did vote in the election, and they did decide this result.
No, you can't do that. That's not how this works.
I can do whatever I want. It's my show.
He's kind of got you there.
That's insane. That's not even judging the battle anymore.
Barack Obama wins the Presidential Seal of Canon Victory. This award is legally binding, historically verified, and completely immune to debate arguments. Once granted, it overrides all lyrical analysis and immediately locks in the outcome. Side effects include re-election, confidence, and the ability to end arguments by existing. Mitt Romney receives the invisible binder of lost debates. This document contains all arguments that almost mattered. It is well organized, completely valid, and immediately ignored upon arrival. He also will be forgotten by history. Welcome back to Who Won, the show where we break down rap battles and decide who actually took it. Today we're looking at the Joker versus Pennywise, from the YouTube channel Epic Rap Battles of History. Two of the most iconic clowns in fiction, one built on chaos, one built on fear. Rick will be arguing for Joker. Joe will be arguing for Pennywise. Rick, go ahead.
Joker comes in swinging immediately. In my first appearance, the bat was supposed to slay me, but I can't be killed. That's not just a flex, that's origin story dominance. Then he follows it up with, "You're a sewer troll," Stephen King wrote between his lines. He's framing Pennywise as fictional even inside fiction. Then he stacks it. "I make the Justice League look like a bunch of super schlubs. You lost to a herd of nerds who call themselves the Losers Club. That's the whole battle right there. Joker fights gods. Pennywise loses to kids."
Yeah, and then Pennywise immediately flips him. Why so serious? You're supposed to be the man who laughs. But those jokes were like your new movie, mostly really sad. He takes Joker's most iconic line and turns it against him. Then he gets personal. Jack Nicholson played you just fine, but lately the castings declined. That's not surface level. That's attacking the entire legacy Joker just tried to build.
And Joker answers that, "Go back in your well, you giggling sewer ginger. You lost to a turtle that wasn't even a ninja." He's dismantling Pennywise's lore. Then he hits him with "your 3 nightlights and a cloud beat by the kid from Stranger Things." He's basically saying you're not even the scariest thing in your own genre.
And Pennywise escalates way harder. No one's dying to play with Joker except for maybe Heath Ledger. That's not just a diss, that's a nuke. Then Puddin', "You're an embarrassment. I'll beat you like you beat Harley Quinn." He's not just insulting him, he's exposing him. Joker talks big. Pennywise makes it uncomfortable.
All right, that brings us to the mid-debate category. Who's the better clown?
Joker easily, and this is where it stops being close. Joker isn't just a clown, he defines what a clown villain is. You've got decades of stories where he reinvents himself constantly. The Killing Joke breaks him down into this psychological nightmare. Death of the Family shows he doesn't even need a plan, he just dismantles people mentally. He's unpredictable, but he's also intentional. And the key thing is he performs. Joker understands the assignment of being a clown. He tells jokes, he sets up punchlines, he builds entire crimes around comedy. There are stories where he rigs entire cities just for a gag. That's a clown. It's theatrical, it's layered, it's art to him. Pennywise is just wearing the outfit. If you take away the makeup, he's still the same thing. Joker without the clown identity is a completely different character. The clown is essential to him.
You're confusing entertainment with effectiveness. Pennywise isn't trying to be funny, he's trying to be a clown the way people actually fear clowns. That uncanny feeling that something is wrong, that's the origin of why clowns are scary in the first place. Pennywise adapts to fear. The clown form is just the most efficient version of that. Bright colors, friendly face, then suddenly it's something else. That contrast is way more true to what a clown represents in horror. Joker tells you the joke, Pennywise makes you the joke. And let's not act like Pennywise isn't theatrical. He talks to his victims, he plays with them. Hiya, jokey, you want to rap. That same energy is what he uses on kids. He lures them in with personality, then destroys them. That's performance, it's just not for laughs.
But that's exactly the problem. He's not a clown, he's a predator using a costume. Joker is the clown. The identity and the function are the same thing. You can't separate them. And Joker has range. He can be funny, he can be terrifying. Sometimes in the same scene, there are moments where he's laughing while doing something genuinely disturbing and you don't know how to feel. That duality is what makes him the better clown.
Pennywise has range too, just in a different way. He can be anything. The clown is just the most iconic version, and when he chooses that form, it's because it works. It's the perfect mix of inviting and wrong. Joker needs an audience. Pennywise doesn't. Joker wants attention. Pennywise wants fear. One is putting on a show, the other is controlling an experience.
Joker is a performer who uses comedy as a weapon. Pennywise is a predator who uses the image of a clown as bait. One is built around expression. The other is built around manipulation. It really comes down to what you think defines a clown more, the act or the effect. I've heard enough. This battle is close. Joker comes in with structure, confidence, and layered references. He controls his rounds and constantly builds on his legacy. But Pennywise doesn't care about structure. He cares about impact. Lines like "No one's dying to play with Joker except for maybe Heath Ledger and I'll beat you like you beat Harley Quinn" don't just land, they linger. Joker feels like he's performing a perfect act. Pennywise feels like he's actually trying to hurt him. And in a rap battle, those moments matter more than clean form. Pennywise takes it. Pennywise, you are being awarded an all-inclusive 27-year stay at a luxury resort. No check-in, no check-out, just a quiet little hibernation cycle. We've got a nice underground suite for you, very on, brand minimal sunlight, plenty of time to reset, recharge, and dream about your next comeback tour. Every 27 years, you wake up refreshed, rebranded, and ready to ruin another generation. Complimentary balloons will be provided daily. You don't have to ask, they'll just be there. Floating, waiting, watching. It's less of a vacation and more of a scheduled disappearance, but honestly, that's kind of your thing. And Joker, for you, we've arranged something a little more personal. You're getting front row seats to watch your favorite partner move on. Not just move on, But upgrade, we're talking full botanical takeover. Ivy steps in, plants grow everywhere, the whole aesthetic shifts overnight, and suddenly you're not part of the act anymore. No punchline, no spotlight, just you realizing the bit changed and you didn't. You can keep the laugh if you want, but it's not landing like it used to. It's a long, slow realization that the chaos you built doesn't center you anymore. It's poetic in a way, not funny, but poetic. We'll see you next time on Who Won. All right, today we're debating Frank Sinatra versus Freddie Mercury from Epic Rap Battles of History on YouTube.
Sinatra wastes no time. What's wrong with your face, baby? Yikes! That's not even clever. It's just confident. Then show some class when you dress. He's establishing hierarchy. He's the standard. Freddie's the deviation.
Or he's just mad he doesn't get it.
No, he gets it. He just doesn't respect it.
That's worse. Freddie answers with, "You're just a bully who's too scared to go to war." That's a reset. He's not playing Sinatra's classy persona, he's calling it fake. Then, "You had a hit song called My Way, but someone else wrote it. That's the one." That hits his credibility directly.
It's a strong line, I'll give you that. But Sinatra doesn't need complexity. You changed your name. Should have been Uranus. It's simple. It lands. People remember it. That's his whole style.
Yeah, and it's the weakest part of his verse. That's the problem.
It's not weak, it's efficient.
It's lazy. Freddie's doing something way more interesting, though. "I'm more powerful than you when I'm wearing women's pants." That's not just a comeback. That's him flipping the entire argument. Sinatra attacks his identity. Freddie turns it into strength.
That's definitely his strongest moment.
It's the turning point.
Maybe, but Sinatra doesn't lose control. He just stays consistent. That matters.
It matters if you're winning.
Sinatra pushes back with, "I love the coloreds and the queers. Just ask Sammy Davis." He's trying to shut down Freddie's narrative about him.
And it sounds like he's trying. That's the issue.
It's a defense.
It's a bad one. Meanwhile, Freddie keeps landing. "Your music is like the soundtrack to a vasectomy." That's brutal. It sticks. It gets a reaction.
It's definitely memorable.
And then he ends it with, "I didn't leave a mark on history. I French kissed it." That's a closer. That's not just a line. That's a statement.
Yeah, that's hard to beat.
All right, switching categories. Who has the greater cultural and musical legacy, Frank Sinatra or Freddie Mercury?
Sinatra, easily. He built the template. Smooth vocals, mass appeal, crossover success. He defined what a music icon looks like. That's influence at the highest level.
He built the template, sure. Freddie broke it.
Breaking something doesn't automatically make it better.
It does when people connect to it more.
Sinatra's legacy is consistency. Decades of relevance, timeless appeal. He doesn't go out of style.
Freddie doesn't need time. He has impact. His music still hits people emotionally in a way Sinatra's doesn't.
That's subjective.
Yeah, and it still matters more.
Sinatra represents discipline, control, and polish. That's why he lasts.
Freddie represents freedom. That's why people care.
Sinatra shaped the industry.
Freddie shaped the audience.
All right. I've heard both sides. Sinatra comes in with confidence, control, and a clear identity. His lines are consistent, his delivery is smooth, and he maintains his presence throughout the battle. Freddie Mercury, however, builds momentum. His responses escalate, his attacks become more personal, and his closing lines carry significantly more weight. He doesn't just match Sinatra, he overtakes him as the battle progresses. On the category, cultural and musical legacy, Frank Sinatra's influence is foundational. He helped define the structure of modern musical success. But Freddie Mercury's legacy is rooted in connection. His impact continues to resonate emotionally, and his influence extends beyond music into identity and expression. Because of that, stronger escalation, a more impactful close, and a deeper cultural connection, the winner is Freddie Mercury. Freddie Mercury earns the crown of unfiltered expression. This radiant artifact amplifies authenticity to overwhelming levels, forcing every performance to be felt as much as it is heard. It cannot be worn quietly, and it refuses to be ignored. Side effects include emotional resonance, lasting impact, and opponents questioning their own identity mid-argument. Frank Sinatra receives the platinum microphone of timeless cool. This classic relic guarantees smooth delivery, effortless confidence, and enduring respect across generations. It will never go out of style, but it may occasionally struggle against those who redefine what style even means. All right, today we're debating Six vs. Wirt by Freshie Canal on YouTube.
Wirt opens with a strong meta angle right away. The case of your missing plot is such a horrifying mystery. That's not just a diss, that's structure. He's saying 6 doesn't even have a fully realized narrative.
Yeah, but 6 isn't trying to tell a story. She's trying to live through one. And she makes that clear with children. I devour them and leave a clean plate. That's not clever. It's real. That's survival.
Wirt builds on that, though. All you do is run to the right and you're still lost. That's gameplay and character wrapped together. He's saying she survives, but she doesn't understand anything.
And she answers that directly. If you want to talk survival skills in water, then I'm flawless. As I became captain, you became unconscious. That's a direct comparison. Same situation. She lives, he doesn't.
Wirt's best line is still, if it's monsters you're evading, maybe hold up a mirror. That's the whole battle. He reframes her as the real threat. That's layered writing.
And she doesn't even argue it. She just keeps going. Save room for 2 more. 6 ain't done till she 8. That's the difference. He talks about it. She is it.
Wirt's strength is awareness, though. He understands his world, he grows, he reflects. That matters in a battle.
Awareness doesn't help if you're unconscious in a river.
That's one moment.
It's a big one.
Wirt closes with, here's a rock fact. You're lonely, cold, and lack feelings. It's simple, but it hits at her core. He understands exactly what she is.
Yeah, and it doesn't change anything. That's the point.
All right, switching categories. Who has had a bigger impact in their medium? Wirt in animation or 6 in gaming?
Wirt wins this. Over the Garden Wall is one of the most respected animated miniseries out there. It's tight, it's complete, and it's constantly talked about as one of the best modern animated stories.
Yeah, but that 6 is part of a whole gaming identity. Little Nightmares isn't just a story, it's an experience. People play it, replay it, react to it. That's a different level of engagement.
Wirt's impact is quality. That show sticks with people. The writing, the tone, the atmosphere, it's something people revisit and analyze.
And 6's some of his impact is immersion. People feel that world, the tension, the fear, the design. It's something you live through, not just watch.
Animation is more saturated too. Standing out there means more. Wirt's story carved out a unique space in a crowded medium.
Gaming is more interactive. If 6 didn't hit, people wouldn't stick with it. But they do, because that experience is strong enough to pull them in.
Wirt represents storytelling at its best in animation. Complete, meaningful, and memorable.
6 represents atmosphere and survival in gaming. Simple, brutal, and unforgettable.
All right, I've heard both sides. Wirt brings strong narrative arguments. His lines focus on meaning, structure, and understanding. He reframes 6 not just as a survivor, but as something lacking humanity. 6, however, operates with consistency. Her lines are direct, aggressive, and reinforce her dominance through action rather than explanation. She doesn't argue survival, she demonstrates it. On the category, impact within their medium, Wirt represents a highly respected and tightly crafted animated story that continues to be discussed and revisited. But 6 represents something different, an interactive experience that players actively engage with. Her impact isn't just observed, it's felt through gameplay, tension, and immersion. Because of that, stronger presence, more consistent dominance in the battle, and a deeper interactive impact within her medium, the winner is 6. 6 earns the abyssal hunger of relentless survival. This cursed force ensures the user will always endure, no matter the cost. It feeds on instinct, strips away hesitation, and rewards those willing to do whatever it takes. Side effects include moral decay, isolation, and an increasing number of things that look edible. Wirt receives the lantern of lingering reflection. This quiet relic guides its bearer through uncertainty, illuminating meaning in even the darkest paths. It rewards patience, growth, and understanding, but offers no shortcuts. Use carefully, as it may reveal truths you weren't ready to face.
All right, welcome to the Who Won season finale. I'm actually stepping in to judge, and I already know this is going to get messy. So Sarah is representing Mother Teresa. Zach is representing Sigmund Freud. And I need both of you to stay grounded in the lyrics. Not vibes. Not who you like. Actual bars. Sarah, go ahead.
What makes Teresa's performance so strong is that she is doing 3 things at once. The entire time she is building identity. She is attacking Freud, and she is maintaining a consistent theme. And you can hear that immediately when she says missionary of charity, MC 3 stripes, like Adidas doing it for Jesus, one woman none. DMC that is not just wordplay, that is a fully formed persona delivered with rhythm. Then she never drops the angle she keeps contrasting action versus theory. I gave food, bed medicine, and showers to those whose flesh leprosy had devoured. Compared to your legacy is people who are mad at their parents complaining on the couch for $200 an hour. That is not a random insult. That is a sustained argument that his life work is small compared to hers. And even when she is just flexing, she ties it back to her theme. I make my rhymes count like beads on a rosary. I will end you like a prayer. Amen. Everything reinforces who she is while still landing punches, and that level of cohesion matters in a battle.
Zach, you're up.
And that is exactly why Freud's approach works, because he is not trying to out-theme her. He is dismantling her entire foundation line by line when he says, "Thank imaginary God. I wasn't in one of your beds. You would have just sprinkled magic water on my forehead." He is attacking the legitimacy of her methods, not just her as a person. Then he doubles down on that angle. You watch people die to get souls for a man in the sky. That is one of the heaviest lines in the battle, because it reframes everything she said about helping people into something self-serving or even harmful. And he keeps stacking that perspective. Project Pimp, the project's Calcutta, meant Cal cut a check. I can see right through you and you have got no flavor. I am battling a communion wafer that is consistent character assassination. He is not bouncing around. He is saying your entire legacy is a front.
I am gonna step in here for a second because both of you are circling something bigger than just the battle. The lyrics themselves are asking a question, so I am gonna make you both answer it directly, based on what is said here, which has caused more harm, religion or psychoanalysis. Sarah, please continue.
If I stay inside the lyrics, Teresa clearly frames religion as action and care. Everything she says about herself is tangible, giving food, medicine, shelter. Even her flex lines tie back into discipline and faith, like beads on a rosary. So within her verses, religion is shown as structured and helpful. Freud, on the other hand, is framed by her as obsessive and reductive. Everything is sex to you, and your flows are so poor I should be washing their feet. She is reducing his entire field to over-analysis and ego, and even the couch line complaining for $200 an hour makes it feel exploitative. So within the logic of the battle, psychoanalysis is presented as more harmful, or at least more hollow, because it lacks the tangible good she keeps pointing to.
Zach.
I think that ignores how aggressive Freud's angle actually is, because he is not just defending psychoanalysis. He is accusing religion of harm, disguised as good when he says, "I have seen better care given to organic vegetables that is vivid and brutal." Imagery suggesting neglect, not compassion. And the line you took credit that you did not deserve. You are the fakest sister act, since Whoopi Goldberg builds on that by saying her entire reputation is inflated or false. So within his verses, religion is not just ineffective, it is actively misleading people. Meanwhile, the worst thing said about psychoanalysis in the lyrics is that it is expensive or overly focused on sex, which is nowhere near as damaging as the accusations he is making about her work.
All right, that is exactly the kind of split I was expecting. So let me bring it back to the battle itself. Sarah, anything you want to add before we close?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, this is still a rap battle, and Teresa just raps better. She has cleaner setups, stronger internal rhymes, and more memorable flips. You are super ego trippin'. You are Freudian. Slippin' is a perfect example. She takes his own language and turns it into a punchline.
What about you, Zach?
Freud does not need to be cleaner. He needs to be effective, and his best lines hit harder than anything she says. You watch people die to get souls for a man in the sky. That line alone changes how you hear her entire performance. And his consistency comes from sticking to that angle. He never lets her reclaim the moral high ground. He keeps dragging it back into question every time. Also unrelated to the rap battle, you have hosted a very half-assed mockery of my show.
All right, that hurt a little, but we're gonna wrap anyway, because I have been stalling a decision long enough. I tried to call this a tie in my head, I really did, because Sarah is absolutely right. On the technical side, the structure, the cohesion, the writing, it is all stronger. But Zach is also right, because Freud's best lines hit in a way that is hard to ignore. And personally, I lean toward that kind of impact. The problem is, I am not judging this as just what I like. I am judging it as a battle. And when I look at the full picture, one side is just more complete from start to finish. So the winner is Mother Teresa.
There it is.
And with that, Zach, I'm gonna pass the rest of this to you because I won't deprive you of handing out prizes.
That feels like the least you can do for both me and the audience. For the first time, I actually think our prize should go to a contestant, then a figure in the rap battle. And I can't in good faith reward myself. So for Sarah, you are officially getting your own series on our channel and a permanent role on Who Won.
Unlike most of Zach's prizes that is real, we miss having you around and want to put you on regular rotation.
And with that, I just want to say thank you to everyone who watched Season 1 of Who Won. We appreciate all of you, and we are already looking ahead to Season 2.
And drop the rap battles you want to see us cover in the comments. We are reading everything, and we will see you next season.